Well, good afternoon, or good evening, or good morning, wherever you might be in the world. We're back again with another discussion about English grammar. We'd like to present solutions, ESL grammar solutions. That's the title of the program. And solutions for what? Solutions for those of you who are really motivated to learn English well and to raise it to a level of mastery. Um, that's that's a tall order, but I know that some of you are highly motivated and would like to improve your English quite a bit. And so we're going to try to help you to do that. This evening, we're going to look at, this evening or whatever time of day it is for you, we're going to look at three ghosts. So let's hope that everybody likes ghosts. Uh, ghosts are oh, they're just special. So let's just go into the ghosts and see what we can find. What does we mean a ghost? English grammar has ghosts. Yes, it does. It's a strange feature of this language. Um, English is really rather a very abnormal language if you compare it with most other major languages in the world. It's kind of off the rails and has been from its very beginning. Now, before I go any farther, let me introduce my partner here, who is Mr. Frank Brisky, and I'm going to let him start off, and then maybe add a bit to what I know he knows.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, Steve. Members of the viewing audience, yes, my name is Frank, and I have been in an ESL classroom as a teacher for about 12 years. I'm really focusing on listening and speaking, and I have worked with most different grade levels from adult school through college and university level, including postdoctoral instruction with visiting scholars. Um, my approach is really student focused, and I do not bear down on all the extreme tedious details, yet they can be acquired through implicit communication where the language is simply picked up and eventually mastered. In this program that Steve has put together, there will be a degree of explicit instruction where we really do look at details to accelerate your achievement of mastery. I will keep my introduction short, and back to you, Steve.
Okay, thank you very much, Frank. Frank is a rather modest man. He is a very serious ESL teacher, and so English learners are lucky to have him either as a teacher or as a tutor. He also didn't tell you that that his many of his really tutees, ones people that he tutors, are postdoctoral students at Stanford. Well, stop for a minute and think about that. They already have PhDs, and they're very serious scholars already. And what they would like to do is to lift their language to a higher level. And furthermore, Frank speaks Chinese, and he has a basic understanding of the grammar of the language, which can help us to focus on some of the details that will show up as we continue. All right, my name is Dr. Stephen West, and I have a PhD from UCLA in Turkish and taught the language, Turkish language, for 14 years at UCLA and at Penn. And also then I have completed 20 years of instruction to ESL students, ESL teachers, I should say, like Frank, at UC Berkeley. And I've had more than 6,000 students, so I've seen a pretty broad range of people who are fascinated by this language to the degree that they would like to teach it. And so here we are. We're two teachers of English, and we'll see if we can be of help to you as we go along. Tonight, I'd like to explore the mysteries of a few ghosts in English. So we trust that all of you like ghosts to some degree, are not too afraid of them. They're mysterious and they sort of are unpredictable as in some ways. But in the case of English, we have three little words which are ghosts. And by that, what I mean is they show up sometimes and then they disappear. And you really can't answer why they do that. That's the nature of this language. It does that. It just simply uh, exposes the ghosts and then tucks them away behind the main verb. Um, so let's just go right to it and see what we can do. So here we are. There are three little words: do, did, and does. And it's like, oh, come on, what's the big deal? They're just little simple words. How can they be ghosts? Well, in ways that are almost impossible to explain, they appear sometimes and then they disappear. And well, so why are they so important? They are just super common in English, and you have no choice but to deal with them if you would like to achieve fluency and then on the way toward mastery. For those of you who have the book, which goes with this series, called it's a book I wrote some years ago called The Vibrant English Verb. Please bring that out and look on page 31 for this ghost and some explanation for that. We'll take you through the core of that discussion tonight. And I'll mention something else that's important here. You see the word form and meaning. This, along with usage, make up the three pillars of learning any language anywhere on earth. And you'll see what I mean when we get to the form and the meaning, and then finally the usage. So, Frank, if you'd like to join me here, I'm going to explore a couple of examples here. And one thing that's nice about these ghosts is that they only show up in the simple past and the simple present, not even in the future. The simple future does not even have any ghosts. Isn't that wonderful? Well, so we do have them with these two. And so let's explore a little bit what that's all about. So if you take it just an example, a declarative statement, that's just a plain old normal statement. She wrote a book. All right, it's perfectly good English. And and what you'll notice, hold on for a minute, you'll see that it has here no ghost. And then so Frank, will you want to take the interrogative form here and just say what that is?
Sure. Did she write a book?
Right. Now, when you make it in a question, then the ghost appears. So where did it come from? Well, here it is. It's sitting behind the main verb, and it's not needed in this one here, in the simple statement. But if you make it a question, you have to bring it out. Did she write a book? Okay, and so let's go on and look at some other examples. She writes books. No ghost necessary here. And Frank, you would say?
Does she write books?
Yes. And once again, the ghosts appear. They have to. You need to learn that you cannot say this any other way. You can't just say she writes books. You can't with an inflection. That doesn't work in English. You have to say, does she write books? So then here you'll see then that the ghosts are required for all questions, all interrogative and negative sentences. She doesn't write book. I'll let you read the right column. She doesn't write books. And then you would say,
I would follow along. Doesn't she write books?
oh, well, I could answer him by saying, yes, she certainly does write books, but I'm going to use, now I'm bringing out the ghost for an exclamation. She did write a book. In the past, we have to do it this way. This is the exclamation. She did write a book. And then Frank could say, are you sure?
Did she really write a book?
She, and I could say, yes, she certainly did write a book. And not only this one book, it's actually, I think you said you saw her book, right? Somewhere, Frank?
Oh, earlier, yes, I mentioned that.
Not only one book, but she writes books. She does write books. as a
And
response to
statement
this.
now is, does she really write books?
Yes, and so she certainly does write books. When you do it that way, you have to bring out the ghost. So let's go now to another slide and have another discussion. You remember the three things that are the basic pillars of language learning. We already touched on form and meaning. You saw that in the last slide. Now this is usage. And here's where I'm going to point out to you all the times in a very simple conversation how the ghosts appear and then they disappear. So let's just take a look at that. So in this case, I guess I'm A. So let's say, so I'll say to Frank, you're B. What did you do this afternoon?
I went shopping.
You went shopping. Uh, I doubt that. Now notice, notice that there's no ghost in here. It's possible as an emphatic, I could say, I do doubt that, but it's not necessary until I need to emphasize it. So you see the ghost is here. What did you do? I have to do that, have to use it. And this is the real verb. This is the main verb. This is the ghost. It's the auxiliary that goes along with do. And here the ghost is hiding. It's hiding behind I doubt that. And then I say, your friend said that you stayed at home all day.
Well, she is just wrong. I did not stay at home.
Okay. And you'll notice there's the ghost that comes in with the negative. And then I say, are you saying that your friend lied?
I'm going to be very brave. Yes, she did lie, and I can prove it. Do you want to see my sales receipts?
No, I do not. But now I'm a little bit concerned. Does she lie a lot?
Oh, and I sheepishly say, I'm afraid so.
Well, what can we do about that?
I shrug my shoulders. Not much. She has been lying all her life.
Okay, let's just look back at a few of these other examples here. Um, Here you see the word do. You see the do is here, and do is here. Of those three, only one is actually the ghost, and that's here. And this is a short form for I do not want to see the receipts. Do not. This is not the verb. This is just the auxiliary. And now sometimes that is all you need to negate something. I do not. That's the end of it. Now, then we go on. And since I'm asking a question, I have to use the ghost. Does she lie a lot? And Frank says, I'm afraid so. And then I say, then what can we do? This is not a ghost. This is the real verb. What can we do about that? And you say,
Not much. She's been lying all her life.
okay. All right, thank you. And then notice that we have, this is what English does. It brings in a number of other verb forms along the discussion. Tell me what what would be useful if you can estimate for a Chinese learner of English to know about what we were just discussing there.
Okay, that's a great question, and let's for the Chinese native speakers, for example, try to consider how we are framing the the interrogative statement. You know, when I mean framing, I really do mean that. Like when you're asking a question, there's a different approach, a different setting of the table to ask a question. Did you see her write books? I'm just paraphrasing. Did you see her write books? Do you know that she writes books? And then in Chinese, for example, we could say, well, before or earlier, Ichian will, uh, will Dong. I know she writes books. Ichian ta xie Iben Shu. I she had written a book early. So if I say earlier she had written a book, Ichien ta xie Eben Shu. Earlier, she had written a book. I might want to put the la in there after the main verb of xie. So there's a different framing process. There's not the there's no direct translation of do or did or does in Chinese. It's a different approach. Enjoy the differences.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Frank. And thank all of you for joining us. We're actually, both of us, rather excited to do this because we are both native speakers of English, as you probably can tell. And what does that mean? That means that we have put a lot of effort into objectifying or trying to objectify this mother tongue of ours, objectifying it by being able to go to from the outside and look at it to see what does English actually do. And sometimes it does some very strange things. And so welcome to our program. I'm glad that you're with us, and we will see you again soon with another session of grammar solutions for the English language for you.